Hello, world, and thanks for listening again to Master English with Tim, the podcast where Tim teaches you English in depth and detail without ever hurrying. I'm Tim, native speaker of English, podcaster, as you may be noticed, polyglot, world traveler, and writer. In this week's episode, I'm going to help you learn the most important irregular verbs. I'm not going to try to teach you all of them in one episode, though, because that would be too much. I decided to focus instead on the irregular verbs starting with the letter A through to the ones starting with the letter H. That's almost half of them. What I have done is this. I wrote around 50 micro texts. Some of them just one sentence long, and some of them a bit longer, which contain these irregular verbs. Some of the sentences include just one irregular verb, while others contain several of them. From time to time, you'll hear some verbs that are later in the alphabet too, for example, run. The best way to use these microtexts is by going slowly and listening to them one at a time without hurrying. Each time a text finishes, you will hear me say, stop. When you hear that, press the stop button and try to write down all of the irregular verbs that you heard. The most irregular verbs that you will hear in a single microtext is, if I'm not mistaken, 3. You can, of course, also listen to this episode from start to finish, and that will help you to learn these verbs too, but not as much as if you really work through the whole thing slowly, maybe over several days. Also, if you want more techniques for learning irregular verbs and more example sentences too, then you can listen to episode 42. Okay, let's start. How did your basketball game go? It went great. Thanks for asking. We beat the other team 102-96. We're all really happy because last year those guys beat us in almost every game. That's awesome. Congratulations. Stop. 2. The bees built a nest in the tree in the backyard. We need to destroy it soon, or soon we'll have a real problem. Stop. 3. We were all at the lake swimming and having a good time, but then suddenly the sky became dark and it began to rain. It's strange how sometimes people who are swimming get upset about rain. Stop. 4. In the 1980s, Coke and Pepsi had something like equal market share, but in the 1990s, Coke became the far more popular drink in most markets. Stop. 5. Did you book your airplane tickets to Paris? No, we waited a couple days too long and most of the flights became really expensive. I don't know what we're going to do now. Stop. 6. Wow, you speak Portuguese a lot better than you did last year. Yeah, I began to speak much more fluently after I started meeting with a conversation partner 3 times a week. Stop. 7. How's Dave? Well, as usual, we were having a good time, and then he began complaining about his job and how he has to work until midnight. I guess his job just takes so much time that he can't find a new one. Stop. 8. How was the camping trip? It was fun, but the mosquitoes really bit us up. Stop. 9. What happened to your roof? Well, I guess you weren't here for the storm last week. The wind blew so hard that some pieces of the roof came off. Stop. 10. We had a great bike ride. We were fast as lightning because the wind blew at our backs the whole time. Stop. 11. How are you doing? Pretty good. I have a new job managing a math center for kids, and I really like the work. On the other hand, I broke my arm last week while I was riding a horse. Stop. 12. I smoked for 5 years, but I finally broke the habit over the winter. I already feel much better. 13. In 1954, British runner Roger Bannister broke an important record. He ran 1 mile in under 4 minutes. Stop. 14. How was the picnic? What did everyone bring? Well, I brought a Greek salad. Bob brought some flatbread that he baked himself. Somebody else brought a fruit salad for dessert, and my brother brought a bunch of meat that we grilled. Stop. 15. They built a bridge over the river that goes right past the office where I work, so now my drive to work is much faster. Stop. 16. My dog caught the ball in his mouth and brought it back to me. Stop. 17. Did you hear that the police finally caught that guy who escaped from prison a couple weeks ago? He was living in the woods in a national park, and a drone found him. Stop. 18. Oh my God, there's blood on your leg. Yeah, the neighbor's dog bit me twice. That's crazy. Let's go to the hospital. Stop. 19. My vacation last month cost over $3,000, and last week my car engine had a problem that cost me $700. I've got to start earning more money, or at least spending less. Stop. 20. Taking a selfie too close to the edge of a cliff almost cost me my life. Stop. 21. The price of the Chinese yuan against the euro fell today for the 6th day in a row. Stop. 22. First we painted the walls and then we hung our family photos on them. Stop. 23. How did you feel about Dima's presentation? I felt confused. The tables and data he showed were kind of confusing, don't you think? Yeah, I felt confused too and was hoping that I wasn't the only one. Stop. 24. We were so tired when we got to the hotel that as soon as we went in our room, we hung one of those do not disturb signs on the door. 25. This salad is amazing. Thanks, but I just cut the vegetables. The recipe is Tim's. Stop. 26. How did your basketball game go? Not good. The other team beat us 102-96. We're all sad because last year we beat that team every time. Oh, that's too bad. Never underestimate the other team, though. Stop. 27. Ouch! What happened? I just cut my finger. Stop. 28. My grandmother was an amazing woman who could speak 7 languages. Stop. 29. Where are you from? Well, I grew up in Boston but moved to D.C. when I was 15. Stop. 30. The price of a barrel of oil fell from $82 to $79 over the weekend. Stop. 31. How are you doing? I remember that you went home early last night. Oh, I felt a bit sick, but I feel better now. Thanks for asking. Stop. 32. I got up at 10 this morning, but I'm still tired. Stop. 33. We drove to the mountains and went skiing. 34. When I was a kid, our next-door neighbor, Harry, had a big, beautiful garden that he grew tomatoes and corn in. Stop. 35. Nissia and Bob aren't together anymore. Well, that's probably good news because they fought all the time. Stop. 36. When we were in school, we drew pictures on the desks and the teachers got angry at us. Stop. 37. I hated my job, but I fought the urge to quit until I found a new one. Stop. 38. My history test was a disaster. The morning of the test, I was already nervous, and when the test began, I just forgot everything I had studied. Stop. 39. Wait! You forgot your keys! Stop. 40. It was so hot last night that even though I ran at 8 p.m., I drank almost 2 liters of water afterwards. Stop. 41. My parents went to Cancun for vacation, and when they came back, they were completely suntanned. Stop. 42. Most people wrap the presents before they give them to someone. But when I was a kid, my mom always hid our birthday presents and then gave us little pieces of paper with clues on them. Once she hid a gift to me in the oven. Stop. 43. How was your flight to Singapore? Flight? I think you wanted to say flights. First we flew from Columbus to Denver, then we flew from Denver to San Francisco, and finally we flew from there to Singapore. The last flight lasted 15 hours, and in all, we flew for 23. Stop. 44. Where's Tom? He's in jail. What? What did he do? Well, he hit his dog, and someone caught it on video. Stop. 45. So many people came to the party last night, and they were so loud that someone called the police twice. Stop. 46. How was your fishing trip? It was a lot of fun, and we even caught a couple of swordfish. Stop. 47. We heard that Christina was sick, so we visited her and brought her some books to read and movies to watch. Stop. 48. Who ate my leftover pizza that was in the fridge? Oh, that was your pizza? I'm sorry, I ate it. I'll order you a whole new pizza tonight if you want. 49. My life is going to be different now because I chose the winning lottery numbers last night. 50. Our boss gave us only 2 days to write a 60-page report, so we all had to work the whole weekend. Stop. 51. My looks came from my mom, and my sense of humor came from my dad. Stop. Okay, that's all for this week. Thanks everyone for listening, and please remember to tell your friends, family, and coworkers about Master English with Tim. Until next Monday. Thanks again.